Hi, this is Reverend Dr. Chuck Currie. It's good to have a chance to talk with you for just a couple of minutes this morning about the upcoming elections. Those of you who know me know that for the last 30 years, in one way or another, I've been involved in efforts to try and end homelessness in this country, working with programs here in Oregon, like Outside In and Transition Projects and the Goose Hollow Family Shelter. I've also worked nationally with groups like the National Coalition for the Homeless, where I served on their board of directors and at one point as the interim executive director of that organization. Affordable housing is a crisis in this country, and it has been since the early 1980s when the federal government began its retreat in this area, and local communities haven't made up the difference. And we need to address this as a national issue. We need Congress and the president to act on this. But as we wait for that action, and I think we're going to have to wait until we change directions in the Congress and in the White House, it's important for our local communities to get involved and do as much as we possibly can to build affordable housing in our communities. And that's what I want to talk to you about right now. There are two important ballot measures here that Oregonians will have an opportunity to vote on in November. The first is a local ballot measure for the metro area, and that's Multnomah County, Clackamas County, and Washington County. It's ballot measure 26199. That's 26199. And I hope that you will prayerfully consider voting for it. I've endorsed it, and so has Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon, our statewide association of churches, and a number of people from the interfaith community as well. It is our region's first coordinated response to the affordable housing crisis. And that's a milestone and something very important. In the past, Washington County and Clackamas County have viewed this as more of a Portland issue. But here in Forest Grove, where I am right now in Washington County, people have realized that this is an issue in local communities as well, as more and more people become homeless, particularly women and children and those who are working but just cannot afford the high cost of housing in our communities. That happens in Washington County, it happens in Clackamas County, and certainly it happens in Multnomah County. And this measure would help us begin to address this, as I said, on a regional level. And that's why it's so important to me. There's another ballot measure as well, one that is statewide, and that's Measure 102, which would help us address the affordable housing crisis all across Oregon, including in our more rural communities. People oftentimes think of homelessness or the affordable housing crisis as just being an urban issue, but that is not the case. And about half of those who are homeless in our communities are people who are living in rural areas of the state. And that's why it's important that we vote for Measure 102. As a person of faith, this is an incredibly important issue to me. As I read the greatest commandment, which is to love neighbor and to love God, I don't think that you can do that. You can't say that you love neighbor. You can't even say that you love God if you're willing to allow homeless kids to sleep in our streets, in our parks, or in cars. It just should not be that way. Nor should we have people who are working full-time but just can't afford the high cost of housing become homeless in our community. There's a social contract in America that says that if you work, you ought to be able to succeed. And right now that's not happening, and we can make a difference here. No woman who's fleeing domestic violence should be homeless. No veteran should be homeless. And these two different measures, Measure 26199 and Measure 102, the statewide ballot measure, will help us address this crisis. And it's a moral crisis, it's a spiritual crisis, and it's a political crisis. So I invite you, if you're able, to take a look at the link that I've provided you, click on it, visit the website, donate to the campaign. If you can donate, give a few dollars to them to help get the word out this last month. Sign up to volunteer. If you can't donate, you can at least volunteer. And they need people to do canvassing and to do phone banking. And finally, if you're a faith leader in our state, if you're a community leader in our state, endorse the campaign and let people know that you endorse it, and share this video with all of your friends on Facebook so they learn more about these ballot measures. And share the link to the website, the Yes for Affordable Housing campaign, with your friends so that they can learn more about these ballot measures and the way that they can become involved too. You know, we're all in this together. This is a bottom line, a basic principle of our country, that we're not in this alone. We're all in this together. but too many people right now are being left behind, and too many of those people are children. And that breaks my heart, and it ought to break all of our hearts. And I know that it does. So vote for these ballot measures, and let's begin to make the difference we know that we can make. Thank you so much, and I hope to talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.